As we all know, nothing is truly free in this world. If something online is free, what actually is the hidden cost that we pay for it?
The customer is not you. You are the product. And even if you turn it off location history, they still store it.
How big tech companies track our daily habits without us even realizing that.
They are abusing this information to increase their own profits. Most of these tech firms keep the data almost forever. They turn this into behavioral data.
I think that's the scariest part. You're not in control of what you share or what you don't share.
The surveillance capitalism became too powerful actually because they know too much about us.
There's billions of dollars being put at work to take away your privacy.
There is nothing like magic solution. If something is free, you should think twice. They sell this information to advertisers, so you are not actually a customer. All your data is accessible to anybody, even if you deleted your data. One of the firms has in 2024 $250 billion from advertising.
I usually like to start my podcast with an icebreaker question. So I would like to ask you, what purchase of $100 or less has made your life easier?
That requires some thinking. $100.
Yeah.
So this is like 4,000 Turkish lira.
Yeah, or lower.
I think the dryer.
Okay.
When I came to Istanbul 5 years ago, I bought a washing machine and the dryer. And because in Egypt we have hot weather, dryers are rarely found in Egypt. We don't need it much. But here in Istanbul, I found it very useful actually. You just take clothes out from the washing machine and put it into the dryer. And after an hour or something, it's already, you can use it. And at 5 years ago, 4,000 lira would, $100 is okay to buy a dryer at that time.
Especially in winter, it really helps to dry your clothes faster. So let's dive into the topic directly. I would like to start you by asking, as we all know, nothing is truly free in this world. If something online is free, what actually is the hidden cost that we pay for it?
You are right. It's for many times I was fascinated by trying to think why that app or this service is free, and trying to understand the business model behind that. And many of the free services and apps are not actually free.
Uh-huh.
And for a long time, I was wondering, maybe 20 years ago or something, I was wondering when the internet boom happened, and we started to find a lot of free tools and apps. And it's like, at that time, we felt the move between a software-based world where you have to buy software every time you want something, to a browser-based life that many of the apps are actually free. And later on, we know about the advertisement business, but most of the time it wasn't much ads, and it wasn't very horrible. And most of the time we can't tolerate these ads in exchange of free services and tools. So if something is free, you should think twice. Who is the customer? Maybe you are not the customer. Maybe you are the product. So for example, for one application that you may use for free email service, for example, and that company, big tech company, is actually harvesting every word and every email you send or you receive, your calendar entries, your contacts, etc. And the customer is not you. You are the product. You are like the raw material. They sell this information to advertisers. So you are not actually a customer. So in this kind of models that is now
everywhere, we should be careful about, is our data, are we okay with exchanging our data for this feature or for this app?
Can you share us an example that shows how big tech companies track our daily habits without us even realizing that?
Yeah, I would like to talk about first, as before that, about the surveillance capitalism. It is now a whole capitalism based on that area, that field, which take users' experiences, human experiences, as a free raw material, and they turn this into behavioral data. So they analyze people's lives, giving all sources of information you could imagine. Let me say some of them, like email you sent, document you saved, photo, video, a word that you wanted to translate, your calendar entry, your location minute by minute, all of this data, your social media interactions, what you see, what you react to. And they took all of this and understand your behavior deeply, maybe more than your father or your mother or a close friend. And they take this behavioral understanding, behavioral data of people, and they convert it using machine learning or artificial intelligence into predictable behaviors. So they could be easily, because of this deep understanding of all your aspects of your life for many years, might be, they have this predictable behavior. They could know what you are going to do next, or soon or later even. And with the fierce competition of this surveillance capitalism between each other, because it's actually, they became extremely rich. There's trillions of dollars in this market. And they not only trying to predict your behavior, they are abusing this information or using this information for their benefit. So they get in the middle in your user experience while you are using different applications, different websites, and they intervene in the middle to convince you, to knock you, to push you, to increase their own profits. One study that happened on a big social media framework, the moment, real time, it's like real time bidding platforms. There are a lot of them online right now. So at the moment of a teenager removes her profile photo, they detect that moment. And given micro-targeting techniques and the whole profile of this girl, they could show her advertisement everywhere about products that match her interest. So here it's like you are not only predicting, you are controlling the behavior. And the next wave might be automating users themselves by manipulating people en masse. Because in the past, for example, if you see advertisement on the TV, there is no personal aspect. All of us see the same ad. But now you, at a certain moment, see an advertisement on app that is not related at all, maybe the people who collected information about you. And at the right moment, they show you or they entice you, they push you to buy something or to use something. So here, a really critical business that we should be aware of it. And it's very big. It's not a small business as you might think.
Can you share an example that shows how big tech companies track our behavior online without us even knowing?
A major social media app in 2019 admitted in investigation in United States that they used their messenger application. They monitor all messages sent all phone calls done. They monitor other related social media application. They embedded. It's like when you have a news article and it has this like or share. So the embedded intelligent pixels, hidden pixels, to track people around thousands of websites in addition to their own apps. And they actually, not only this, from the real-time data brokers, they bought thousands of emails and telephone numbers and profile information to collect detailed information about users. And they use that to direct people to services and product that they want people to use. Another example for a maps application, they monitor, this is in 2001, after investigation, they restores minute-to-minute location history, time-stamped for the user, even if the user removed the whole app, because there is other weather app, there is another apps related to that firm, that company.
So whole ecosystem of apps there.
Yes, they have ecosystem of apps, and even if you turn it off location history, they still store it. And even after court orders by like a year and a half, they still save the location, even if it has sensitive information like abortion medicine clinic or something like this. There is another example, another big store, and they also serve cloud services. They in 2025 January, the last January, there is a case against them right now, and the claim is thousands of applications, thousands of mobile apps that integrate with the SDK of this company to show ads or access the back-end cloud services secretly, without user permission, collected billions of location data, time-stamped of users, without giving any hint or any consent of user. So this a very little examples of data collection, and that are happen every day in our life. And imagine over years how many data is stored about you that even the person could forget about it. So right now the intelligence, the surveillance capitalism became too powerful, actually, because they know too much about us.
Some people might argue, I was talking to somebody a few years ago, they were arguing that if they track me and they show me products which I might be interested in, it's not really a bad thing. So how would you respond to somebody like that?
So let us first explain the difference between privacy and secrecy. So in the animal world, for example, most of the animal doesn't have the concept of privacy. So they can eat or sleep or do whatever activity in public. But human beings are different. So who like to sleep in the middle of the street while everyone in the world looking at him and visible to everyone? Who would like to go to the bathroom visible to everyone? Who would like to share with everybody in the world his weak moments, his mistakes, his problems, his intimate relationship, intimate discussion with a friend or his daughter or his wife? So here it's important to understand privacy is essential to humans. And although the lack of privacy in physical life could be very limited, you may stay in an area that nobody is living around you, but in the digital world it's horrible, because all your data is accessible to anybody who has little money, as $100, or has very little power. They can access all your history that you and your father, your mother, your close friends doesn't even know. So here, this is a point, it's very important. No, we need privacy, and we need privacy in digital world much more than the physical world. Because in the physical world, if someone seeing me showering, for example, it will be a specific moment that will end once I finished. But here, it's like everybody forever, because they keep, most of these tech firms, they keep the data almost forever. Even if you deleted your data, even if you deleted your account, they keep the data. And they keep, even if they deleted some of it, they will retain some of them. Because again, they thought this data is like free raw material, and we spent effort to collect this data, and it's ours right now. So here, privacy, we should understand it's a critical factor thing in human life, and we could not just simply, I don't have secrets, let them do. No, know whatever they know. It doesn't. I remember a friend who said sometimes it's useful actually. When I like a burger, next day they show me another better burger to buy. But things are not that simple. What is even more dangerous is not only the massive amount of data they collect about you. The more dangerous is, first, they retain it almost forever. Second, they make it available to anybody. And if you think it's only like 3 or 4 ad networks, no, it's a marketplace where thousands of companies collect the data and do some intelligence over this data and resell it to other companies. And this is specialization. So your data is not only available to only that big firm or that big firm. No, it's everywhere. And there a study about the real-time brokers. It was like an average person in United States data is broadcasted to RTB like 1,000 times every day. And the number is less than in the European Union because we have more strict laws about data security, but still big numbers. And I believe in our countries, other than United States or Europe, the situation is even worse. And given what we don't know is much bigger than what we don't know, then we should be very careful about our privacy, our data. Because even if right now it's okay for you for some information to be public to everybody who likes to access it, and even if this is acceptable for you to take risk, what about your family? What about your loved one? One major application, many of them actually, are accessing your contacts, and they harvest all your contacts and they create what is called shadow profiles. Shadow profiles means even if you don't have account at this social media platform, they create account for you because they have, from your friends, they have your phone number, your email, and they collect data through the website. What do you visit? At what frequency? What is your location? What is your life patterns? I go to the gym 2 days a week, etc. So they know everything about you, even if you don't have an account.
Wow, that is very scary. Personally, it scares me. I have tried my best to, turn off certain features on my phone, which I find to be very, intrusive. When you're in the physical world, as you mentioned, I could close my door and, I could, not decide to not see somebody. I could decide to not share something with somebody. But here, you have no control. I think that's the scariest part. You're not in control of what you share or what you don't share. And you're not in control what the other party will do with, your private information. What tips can you share for an average user to reclaim his or her privacy back? There's billions of dollars being put at work to take away your privacy. It is complicated, but where should one start?
We should not be panicked much because this is first thing. It's like healthy eating. You don't have to move into healthy eating in one day. It could take months of learning and moving a little bit by a little bit into healthy lifestyle in food, exercising, getting away from sedentary life, for example. So first thing, it's a long way, and you don't have to just move in one day. Take your time. Second thing, be informed that nothing actually is free. So don't rush into creating accounts. Don't rush into sharing things about yourself until you think twice. Third thing, you should gradually move into more privacy-oriented products and services. So that free email account you should not use. You should from now on have a list of application on your telephone or on your desktop, laptop or something, and have a prioritized list, and for them one by one gradually try to replace it with other privacy-oriented open source. Open source is not a foolproof. You have to be careful and to gradually move in step by step to services and products that's more private. It's not black and white. You are not going to move that way. It's not that like this, and there is nothing actually 100% security unless you shut down your laptop forever or your mobile forever. But taking care of your privacy, services and tools is important, and do not take easy stuff. Install a simple program that you don't know actually what is the origin because it looks cool. Thousands of mobile applications are free because they collect information about your mobile. And nowadays we have more settings-oriented tools that help us control for a big margin, for a long way, for an acceptable margin most of the time, to protect our privacy. Right now you can control which app could have access to your location, for example. For your microphone. If you find any app that's not accessing your microphone, which is not necessary, then you have to stop this permission. And being informed and educated every day is the right way to fix that, to move gradually in a month or two into a more secure life. Don't take it easy. Don't rush into websites or applications that you don't know. Second, if it's really a famous app from a big tech, of course, don't use it unless you are sure, because it's like if a big player in this surveillance capitalism is known for this, it doesn't make any sense to use any product from them. Because actually this is a major business. One of the firms of the tech ad businesses that is focused on this has in 2024 $250 billion from advertisement, and this is more than 70% of their profits in 2024. So this is like their major profit from advertisement. So don't use any of their products or services. And we are lucky because it's an international movement. Everyone is worrying in the United Europe, in Asia, in South America, even in North America. There is a lot of people worrying about this. And the community of open source and commercial applications who are trying to provide more secure application, more privacy-oriented services are on the rise every day. So we are lucky there are alternatives. And every day we will have more alternatives.
For people who are listening, who don't know the concept of open source, could you briefly explain What is open source?
Open source, it's a movement. It's a big movement, actually. It happened about 1980, started to be known at that time. And it has a philosophical point of view, is about the software in front of the corporate world. The computers mimic the human. I mean, there's a processor and there's a program that have instruction the computer executes. But in the early days of software development, all corporates keep this source code secret and ship you the machine code. In order for the computer to run the source code, to run the human instructions, it has to be compiled by another software to a machine code. And for many years, the corporate world hide this source code from the public and show only the binary code, the machine code. And the movement started by opposing this way because they thought software is like a knowledge, and knowledge should be free. Free here is easily accessible, not free and without money. Yeah. So it started a movement about creating software and making the source code available for people. And then the movement intensified with time and became more successful until Linus Torvalds created the Linux operating system. It's now powering maybe more than 50% of the internet. Even all Android devices right now is based on the core of it is Linux operating system. So that was the first time to have massive software, complicated software like this with a community-oriented platform. Like thousands of developers and testers across the internet collaborated together under the Linus Torvalds guidance or supervision to create that Linux operating system. With time, that movement became even more stronger. So right now, if you GitHub.com is a website that is famous for hosting the open source software movement, and right now there are more than 100 million developers who are subscribed to GitHub, and most of them are creating in a community fashion, not corporate fashion, community fashion, collaborating together to create most of the right now prominent services like web browsers, servers, and a lot many applications exist right now.
Can you give us a list of your top open source alternatives to maybe messaging apps or emails?
I think first thing is a browser. Firefox browser is an open source browser, and it's security oriented, and it has built-in tracking avoidance extension to avoid the tracking hidden pixels embedded everywhere in the internet right now. So it has better security. Also, there's a Brave browser, and this is, I think, the first thing that we have to do. Second thing, I think I would strongly recommend using search engines like Brave or DuckDuckGo. What else? Thunderbird, for example. Thunderbird is an open source application to use that works as an email, calendar, contacts tool. So you can have all of them, and they are, in my opinion, much better than Outlook or other software, because you can use them on your mobile, on your desktop, or even on your iOS device. So I strongly recommend a tool like this. What is also very important is use Office Suite other than the famous ones, not proprietary one, but we have also open source alternatives. For the cloud, there are private cloud right now. We can have Nextcloud. It has hundreds of applications, plugin that could be added to it, and to provide even more services related to AI, documents, calendar, contacts, notes, application. Even they have a messaging app, so you can have your own private cloud that is totally far from the big tech surveillance capitalism world. And there are websites actually I could share with you that provide this alternative. You can find recommendations in every aspect you like to have alternative software, secure services. I would share with you.
Could you mention their website so people listening can maybe log into the website?
It's called privacyguides.org.
Okay.
It's a community, not a commercial thing.
Okay.
And they have actually very, very beautiful, very comprehensive privacy awareness. A lot of articles, and all of it is created by volunteers, open source volunteers who write documentation, share their experiences about the whole privacy issue, not only the big tech situation or the ad tech problem, but about the whole security, browsing the internet securely, DNS issues, VPN. When should you use VPN, and when it is not useful to use VPN? Because the most important thing is to increase our awareness. There is nothing like magic solution. Let us use VPN all the time, or let us use Tor services all the time, or some other thing. The first thing that you have to do is to increase your awareness, your learning. You have to learn more to understand for every tool what to use, in what situation, and what is going to protect you from. So it's not like that let us do one solution. We name it sometimes silver bullet, and some magical thing that would solve anything. No, you have to understand every tool and the sweet spot, when to use it most effectively and when it is not actually useful. And this guide and another many websites are helping to educate us and keep us informed and aware about security. So every day pass on us will be even more secure and more successful, inshallah.
When you use something, you have to understand what are you giving up, because there is a trade-off for everything in life, right? So if you go and use that certain service or certain application, you at least have to be aware what they are taking from you, or what is the price you're paying. You might not be paying a monetary price. You are paying with your privacy, with your data, right? So I think that's a very important point to drive home. Just to wrap up the podcast, I would like to ask you, since you have been in software and IT for a very long time, you have very solid experience. I would like to ask you, what would be your advice for people who want to get into software development or open source, or just from a very basic perspective, just get into coding and software development?
With the advancement of AI agents, it's the picture is completely changed over, and it's continuously changing. So let me say, the AI, at least for the short term, we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but at the short term, software development will still be required. But with the advancement of everyday AI models, AI agents for developers, the role is changing. So right now, the first thing that you have to really understand is the architecture and the design of the software. Because the AI agent tools, day after day, they can manage the syntax, the language itself. So, of course, you have to understand the language, because AI is sometimes it's like a super developer or a junior developer, and many times they could fix even bugs for you. That happened to me. But you have to be careful, because some other times it do horrible mistakes. And to be able to understand the difference, you have to be very, very alert about the output. And many times, actually, you reject the whole proposal of the AI agent, reject it all together and refine your prompt to help it do it better. The last freelance project I worked on, it's like 95 of the code I didn't write myself. So the AI agent wrote it for me. But the good news, if we can say good news, non-technical people could not create a real software right now. Still, you have to think about the database, how to architect the code, how to divide different services, layers, what components to use. And this is, in big system, this really matters. And generating just a small tool and just keep it like this forever is an easy task. But having a competing software that evolve over time requires engineering. So we are still needs engineering. We need architecture. We need proper design. We need some human to direct the path for the AI to be able to finish the task correctly. So the first thing, you have to learn a language, of course, but most of the time you will not write code, but you will review the code of the AI to make sure it fits in your architecture model. The most important one, as we said, is to have technical knowledge, architecture, trade-offs, because most of the time things are not that simple, white or black. You have to understand what you are using, the trade-offs, the benefits, the disadvantages, the price, the burden, the benefit. So you have to understand this as a human.